All right, I'm coming at y'all with a review of a game that's a little bit older, but it's in my backlog, and it's a game that is very highly reviewed on Steam, and it's available on Xbox Game Pass, which is why I'm playing it. It's been in my backlog for a while. This is from the producers that also worked on producing the game Manor Lords that I reviewed earlier this year.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of, Manor Lords.
So it's similar to Manor Lords, but it's made by another development team. This is a dark fantasy city builder where your job, it's called Against the Storm, by the way. I should probably make that known.
There you go.
This game is called Against the Storm, and it came out in December of 2023. So it's been out for a little bit, but I got into it because of Xbox Game Pass. It's a dark fantasy city builder where you must rebuild civilization in the face of apocalyptic rains. As the Queen's Viceroy, you lead humans, beavers, lizards, foxes, and harpies to reclaim the wilderness and secure a future for civilization's last survivors. So that's the general gist of the story. You play as that Viceroy. You're tasked by the Scorched Queen to reclaim the wilderness, discover lost riches for the smoldering city. So when you start this game out, there's this big ass city in the middle, and then you branch out in this like hexagonal, like kind of set of pathways to determine where you're going to make your next settlement. And you go to another settlement, you explore that area, create a city there, and then you unlock some special benefits and stuff like that, move on to the next segment. And after 3 city creations, if you haven't discovered another like it's I forgot what they called it, but it's like a special area. Then what will happen is there's this Blightstorm that occurs that wipes out the entire world.
Fuck me, dude.
And then starts over with new stuff that's going to be new challenges and things to fight. So if you haven't built a new permanent location, you go back to the smoldering city and have to branch out from there. Each
roguelike, okay, I like it.
It's a roguelike, yeah. So each mode or each game that you play is very much like a kind of a standard city builder vibe. You start out with some villagers and you put them to task. So you create a bunch of different like resource gathering buildings, such as like a woodcutter's camp. You can put down a trapper's camp. You can put down a herbalist camp. You can put down all these different things that collect different resources. You can eventually start farming when you find like tall grass to farm in that's like for plantations and stuff. You have these hearths that are for your group to get warmth and go back and like kind of rest and take time at. That's also what dictates where you can plant your shelters for your people. So you have to build shelters for your people, manage that. You have to put them to work to make them build stuff, and you create and build their resolve over time. As you're playing the game, more villagers are going to come to your area, and then you have to then give them work, give them food, give them shelter, and keep them happy. Otherwise, they're going to get pissed, and they're either going to die or run off. And that's going to make the queen very unhappy with you. So the entire time, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, there's these 2 bars. There's a blue side and there's a red side. You have to fill up the blue side before the red side gets all the way. The red side is the queen's impatience. So as things happen, you get more people that are unlocking more stuff. They get more stressed. Blights occur throughout the game world.
Your queen or is
your queen? Yeah, okay. Yeah. You're the viceroy for the queen.
Sounds like a roller coaster tycoon. You know, keeping the people happy.
Yeah. You got to keep everybody happy.
Fair enough.
And then if you don't finish before the queen's impatience runs out, then you lose and everybody dies, and you have to basically start over. And if you win, though, and accomplish all of your goals, then the queen's happy. You build a settlement there, and then you move on. And with every completed region, you unlock new permanent buffs to your character as a roguelike would.
Okay.
So you can get extra, upgraded ability to like farm for materials, upgraded ability to do this, upgraded ability to do that. All that stuff occurs. As you're playing through the game, you're going to have a series of orders that you can accomplish. And these orders are like deliver a pack of building materials, deliver 50 wood, open these 5 groves, which these groves, you'll notice on the map, there's a bunch of these like foggy areas. Those are like hidden groves. So as you're cutting down trees and expanding your settlement, you're going to uncover these groves or glaives. Glaives or groves. I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's glaives maybe.
Yeah, I think it's glaives. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. You'll uncover these glaives, and inside them will be some kind of mystery hidden within them. Most of them is going to be like you might have like a series of crates you have to send your guys to unlock, and you have to use a certain number of resources to either break open the crate, or you can use it as a donation to the queen, and then that'll give you a favor to lessen your impatience meter with her. So you have options with each one of these things. So it's like, do you want some more resources and be greedy, or do you want to give favor to the queen to finish that run faster? You have those different kind of variables and abilities available to you. You can always pause time whenever you're playing, so you can like decide like what your move is going to be before you like do something. You'll notice certain glaives that have these little like battering ram icons on them. Those are dangerous glaives. So you're not fighting anybody, but what's going to happen is there might be like a ritualistic temple there that does bad things. So during the next cycle of a day and night, not day and night, but the next cycle of rain and not rain, because there's like days where it's not raining and everything's fine and happy, and there's days where it's pouring the rain down and like bad shit happens. So when the bad shit's happening, if you find a dangerous glaive, it's likely that there's going to be some negative effect that occurs. One game I was playing, I had built all these roads throughout like my whole entire town because it makes your villagers walk faster. When I didn't take care of that, so I didn't have enough resources to take care of the little like statue thing that I found, it caused the whole entire land to flood and wash away all my paths. So I had to recreate all my paths, which is really frustrating. But with every building that you make, you need to assign villagers to it. Different villagers will have different specialties. So like humans are really good at foraging and collecting, stuff in the ground. Beavers are really good at wood cutting. The lizards are really good at stuff with fire and stuff. There's humans, and then there's they're kind
animals?
of animals that like kind of walk are like humans.
Okay.
Yeah, humanoid of those creatures. There's later harpies and stuff like that you can unlock too that do different things.
I did not expect this.
Yeah. And it's really fun. I have dove into this, and I really love these like city builder types of games. And this one, the reviews were right. Like when I first played the first couple of rounds, I died a lot and I wasn't doing well, but I was unlocking some stuff to help progress me forward. And then now I've got the point where like the lowest difficulty I'm like easily completing. So I've started to like move myself up difficulties. But there's a lot of interesting management of like resources that you can assign to different things to unlock. You have to eventually collect planks, which requires you to cut down wood to make planks, and then sometimes you make fabric, which requires wheat or other types of raw materials in the world. And you can dictate what resources you're building when to make sure you're having the right. You're not using up too many resources that could also take away food from your villagers, and there's a lot of that kind of like on the fly management occurring. But as you complete these orders, the orders will add favor to you and remove Queen's impatience, which is really cool. So like if you start like stacking up these orders and like completing a lot of them at once, you can like really quickly progress your bar forward and have more time to kind of build yourself out.
So, question.
Yep.
I know you talked about the whole bar system and like building your settlement and stuff. What's the deal with the three characters on the left-hand side of the screen?
Yeah, so those are the three different types of races. So I mentioned you have humans, you have
so those
beavers,
are the races that you are like
that you have in your party.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I have like you'll see the different numbers to below the names or whatever.
So
that's their resolve. So that's their happiness basically.
Okay.
So you'll notice that when it has like the red or the green on the side, that means in the next cycle when it goes from like rain to not rain or whatever, that means the resolve is either going to go up or down. So you need to prepare ahead of time to account for that.
So does each race have like almost like a
different needs?
Not different needs,
because they do have that too.
They have that, so they have different needs, but different like abilities. Like one can mine faster, the other.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier, where it's like the humans are good at foraging.
Okay.
The beavers are really good at wood cutting, and they're also really good at engineering.
Okay.
And then you have the lizards that I have right now are really good at like stuff with fire, like kilns and things of that nature. So they all have different benefits. So you can put anybody on anything, but it'll tell you when you're doing it.
How many different races are there?
5.
There's 5.
Yeah, I've only locked 3, but there's 5. Yeah.
There's you said there's no battling.
Right.
It's just all about survival.
survival, resource gathering, and stuff like that. So like if you were to uncover the dangerous glaive, what's going to be in there is like you might have like a corrupted totem. You might have a village of people that are rogue. So you got to go in there and like that you fight them, but there's not actual combat that occurs. It's just like it just clears them out, kind of thing.
I don't know how I feel about all of this.
Yeah,
I'm usually not a big fan of these style of games, you know, building a town and all this other stuff. But I feel like just the main objective here is to make sure the queen is happy.
Yep.
Lame. No, I think it's...
No, it's not lame.
No,
I'm
just kidding. I'm kidding. I think the concept's interesting.
It's a super interesting concept. And when I first got into it, I was like, it felt a little repetitive at first, but then I started getting hooked into the loops of stuff. Because like new villagers will come, and you really can't control not letting them come.
Okay,
and you get like resources with that, but then you have to. There's a lot of management of different things happening all at the same time. And like I hate inventory management, but for whatever reason, the way that this one works,
what the heck?
The way this one operates,
you like social management, not inventory management.
This one is really interesting in how it just the systems are designed really well. There's a nice loop to it, and then as you progress and as things have gone easier as I played, I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. Like I'm getting better and stronger and learning new tactics. To progress through the games easier and faster. And that's been really exciting. So I feel progression happening all the time. Which I think is really important. And then whenever you're on the big overview map, I wonder if I can find a way to pull that up. But there's like a big overview map that'll show up. And when you're selecting different areas, there's like little, like if you build a settlement next to like this little like node on the map, then there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's this big,
like
huge overview. So it's like, it's like a tan setup. So you'll notice there's like, you'll start at like the smoldering city in the middle, which is where the big volcano is, but that's where your city is. And then you can move, I think, 2 spaces out from where you are, 3 spaces out from where you are. And then you build a settlement, and that's where you then go into the world where you like build the glaives and stuff. And then at the bottom, you'll notice there's a bar, and there's different like cities that are being developed that you created, leading up to the Blightstorm at the end. And that's when everything resets. If you haven't found, I think it's one of these little like glowing nodes that are on the map. That's where if you build a settlement by that, then you can create that as like a checkpoint that'll like save your progression to that area.
Shit.
Yeah.
So does like the overview map, because now I'll compare it to Settlers of Catan, is each resource how it's color coded right now? Because I see orange, I see green, I see gray. Is that like a major resource there that's color coded?
Not necessarily. It's more the type of environment. So it's gonna be
the type of environment is still
so
resource,
right?
it's
you're still gonna be getting your trees. Your like you might have like instead of mushrooms, you might have, I don't know, some other vegetable, but it's not gonna be like that kind of thing where it's like you're limited in resources that you get. It's more in like the more lava-y areas or just more treacherous terrain. So there's likely to be more dangerous glaives that you'd have to encounter versus the ones that are more green are gonna be more just exploration and discovery.
Okay, so basically you have your one settlement and you're trying to go through to make another settlement all the way up to that node.
Yeah.
So you're creating roads. Let's say like Catan style.
Yeah.
You're creating roads to each settlement to make it to that node.
Yeah.
But the
how far can you go to create a new settlement?
I mean, this motherfucker went like
it's until you get to the end. Because sometimes what will happen is as you're building it, like you have these areas here that are basically like buffs for your character.
So those areas, what is that icon?
So sometimes it'll be something like you'll have a little area that if you build a settlement next to this area, you have a higher chance of discovering certain types of like food. Or there might be a negative effect that will also buff something else. So there's always like a pros and cons kind of situation.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay.
Wait, so are you forced to go?
You're not forced to go any direction.
Yeah, you're not.
You just have that map, and it's a big, huge circle or a big, huge like hexagonal shape, and you go out any direction you want. But you got to kind of plan and decide because you can hover over like the different question marks and things on the map, and it doesn't really tell you what it is, but it'll tell you kind of an idea of like what's over there. But you also will see these little like hovering like purple things, and there's like sometimes hovering green things, or like these little skull like markers or whatever. And that's, if you hover over those, you'll tell you like what the buff or debuff is going to be for that.
So question, like, do you need to, like, your first settlement, do you need to build it to a certain point in order to make another settlement? Or if you have enough resources to create a road to a certain section, can you just do it that way?
Yeah, once you finish and you build your settlement and you're about to choose your next one, it just has to be within 3 spaces of your hexagon.
Okay.
So you just branch out from your hexagon, and you have to go somewhere 3 spaces from there, and you decide where that is. And there's no resource requirement to build at any of those places. You go there because basically think of it like you're a caravan, and your traveling caravan is then going to build a new hearth and like storage house at that new location, and then trying to build a settlement there.
Okay.
But they may or may not survive the treachery of
so you
the
might
exploration.
lose some people and stuff like that. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if you do, then you then go back to like, say you're at Blackburn and you go to try and build Mudskip and you fail, you just go back to Blackburn and then have to pick another hexagon to travel to and try and do it before you hit the Blightstorm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're just okay. So you're so okay.
So
I got it.
unlike most games like, let's say, Age of Empires, or like even like a city builder like SimCity or whatever, you're building a singular city and trying to build that as big as possible. In this one, you're building a bunch of different cities, a network of settlements with diverse races, each with different specializations and different needs.
That's the difference.
So you have to kind of keep track, or you have to like think about what those needs are with each one.
Would you have to go back to older settlements, or once you like pretty much have it?
No,
well,
I don't think so. Yeah,
no?
But the settlements. So I've only done one Blightstorm path so far, and in that I did not succeed. I did not get to my next marker, so everything restarted, and I still kept all my like buffs that I got from like the previous run.
Okay,
but I didn't have any settlements anymore, so then I had to branch out again, which is kind of crazy. But like, I put in, since we podcasted last, I've put in 12 hours on this game. And I love it. Like, it's so fun.
What the?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot. Like, I'll just like get on and it's like one match. One match is like 45 minutes to an hour.
You're over here doing all this stuff. Like, I can't meet up. I can't do this. Blah blah blah.
Well, it's like late at night. Like, it's like, I mean, you're not texting me. You're not texting me at 12 o'clock. So like, I'll be like, I got to go to bed. Oh, one round of Against the Storm.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, shit, I should have gone to bed earlier. But yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the time limit for you to get to the node before the Blightstorm comes? And then second, how many settlements can you? What's the max settlements before you get to the storm?
I think it depends on the path you take, and then how far along you are in the game. Like, this person here has like 6 settlements. I was only allowed 4 before I hit the Blightstorm, and then everything died. But I think also it could be. Was
that enough for you to get to the node?
No. So I died. Actually, you know what I think it is it's based off of success and failures. So you have a certain number of days to get there, and because I failed 2 or 3 days, I didn't progress my settlements forward. So therefore, I only had 3 settlements or 4 settlements instead of 6. So as long as you're successful each time, you're gonna be able to build more. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can probably do like 8 before the end of the day. I think it's like an 8 to 10 day cycle, and then everything like wipes out and goes bad. So, and it may not be days. It may be like a month timeline or something like that. I can't remember what it is in the overview world, but that's generally what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, give me your account so I can try it out and see if I like it.
There you go.
You don't need to get my account. It's just on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, I want your account though.
Yeah. It would be better if it was your account.
Yeah. And give me your social.
No. I mean, you can just find it online. Apparently, everybody's got everybody's social right now.
Yeah.
So that hack that took place. Yeah.
Great.
Years left for the next Blightstorm, 21. So apparently there's like a certain number of years that pass between each settlement, like discovery. And then it just like wipes everything out. But I don't know. It's a really, really smart game. I was super impressed with it. Like, they brought it out. When did it come out? Came out in December of 2023. but the reviews on it are like super, super high. I was like very impressed with. I mean, still to this day, it's a very positive. This one guy here has 371 hours recorded, and he was like, I want to wait until I completely 100% of the game, which I don't know how you even do that. He said the originality, quality, and it's a true masterpiece of a game. Hardly will you ever find a game that really makes you feel like you're experiencing a passion project quite like this one. So that's pretty cool.
Do you think this is better than the other game that we were talking about?
Manor Lords?
Manor Lords.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I love Manor
That one
Lords.
was really like...
Yeah, Manor Lords is really cool. It's different. Like it's similar, but like Manor Lords is focused around your one civilization. You're expanding that
expanding
group
it
of
out.
villagers.
Yeah.
And you can build other settlements there, but it's contained in one little map.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's like a big, huge overview. And the roguelike element to this is really interesting. Like Manor Lords had like, I could play for 10 hours and it's like, I've done all the things.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know how much timeline there would be, but I mean, it's like with the amount of like, repeat, like the wiping of the game world and then all the different mods and debuffs and stuff that happen are like super interesting. So, like I never encountered the flooding thing until I played one of those missions. And I was like, holy shit, this is a whole different gameplay experience. And then I finally unlocked stone pathways. So now as long as I can find stone in a world, I can build like stone pathways and that won't get washed away.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of interesting upgrades that occur.
Would you say this is a niche game?
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay. What could they add to bring it out of being niche?
I think just simplifying it probably, but I think that would cut out the hardcore fans because I think there's a lot of depth to the systems that I think are really interesting. But if you were to simplify that, it would be like baby's first city builder kind of vibe, and I don't know if that would be the best idea.
What could they add to bring it out of niche?
I don't know if it should be
What?
out of a niche game. Like I don't know if I think this is meant to be a niche game for like a certain type of like group of people that like roguelike experiences.
Question, Brett. I said, what could they add?
Yeah,
Well, I know,
Brett.
but,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't think you can. I mean, unless you redo the game, like
I want some combat, damn it.
Yeah, well, maybe, but I like it without the combat personally. I think that would make it too much. That would add too much to it. Because like with Manor Lords, for example, like there was a combat component, but I prefer to play without the combat because I felt like the combat, like that's the thing I've always been frustrated with. What I like about this is it's not like an Age of Empires where I'm sitting here building my perfect settlement. And all of a sudden I get attacked by somebody and it destroys everything. Like this one, I have a little bit more control over. Like I can just build and then be content, and then there will be things that will affect my build. But not just like come in and just destroy.
Yeah.
And
No,
Age of Empires and stuff like that definitely had that vibe, which I still love that stuff. But,
Like, I'm getting Warcraft 3 vibes from this.
yeah. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Definitely has that kind of art style vibe going on to it. Yeah. I mean, they might add a combat component to it later on down the line. But
Part
I
2.
I think it succeeds at what it does. Like it's that roguelike kind of piece of it, I think is really interesting and unique for this kind of game. And the fact that you're not committed to a town, it's like you're forced to play. You're not stuck with building that one settlement to be the perfect settlement ever. You're forced to rebuild and try new ways each time and try different, setups and stuff like that. And the way in which you branch out to the different glaives will change the look and feel of your town. And then eventually you have to build different hearths because if you get too big of a settlement, you can only build shelter within a certain range of your hearth. So then you have to build a second one, and then that creates some added complication between different areas and stuff like that. So, but it's a great game. I really like it. I was glad I finally jumped into it. I was like I wanted to kind of dig through my backlog a little bit before we get into all these crazy games coming out this fall.
More games.
Dragon Age Veilguard, man.
What
Freaking Space Marines 2.
What else?
Freaking Star Wars Outlaws.
What else?
Freaking Call of Duty. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh my gosh. Those are
Test Drive Limited Solar Crown.
No one cares.
What? I care. But anyway, Against the Storm. Highly recommend if you've never played this game, checking it out. If you have a PC, it's just on PC. So sorry to anybody else. But it is on Xbox Game Pass. So you can get it for free. There, or you can pay $30, which is a very good price for this game.